Hi, everyone, and welcome. We are going to be talking about gut health, the gut honest truth, because our health really does start in our gut. If you have any questions, please feel free to text Dr. Justine 647-987-9355. I wanted to welcome both Dr. Justine and Dr. Udani here with us today. So Dr. Justine is our leader here at Justine Blaney Wellness Center. She is a popular motivational speaker. She speaks at schools and universities and community, local businesses, and charities. Her objective is to provide the best care so that you can be the best version of yourself. And Dr. Udani is our naturopathic doctor here at Justine Blaney Wellness Center. And she is really super passionate and compassionate with her patients. She has a special interest in women's health, digestion, skin conditions, stress, and chronic pain. Please help me welcome both Dr. Justine and Dr. Udani.
Hello, everyone. We've got great information for you today. The gut and the brain are connected. But first, what's coming up next? We have more topics on gut health coming up about leaky gut with Dr. Udani. Carmen, who's off to chiropractic college, did a talk for us on volleyball warm-ups. We're talking more about mold. I know mold definitely severely affects me and allergies. And a lot of times you just don't know that it's there. You don't realize where the symptoms are coming from. We're going to talk more about how to have healthy skin and how that's is affected with your gut as well. And I will be finishing at the end of this series here on how to start your mornings off with amazing energy and success. So today's focus is on gut health. Our mission is to empower our patients, our families with healthier lives through chiropractic and naturopathic care through the 5 essentials. That's maximizing your mind and managing stress. That's maximizing your nervous system, maximizing your nutrition, maximizing your oxygen, your exercise, and minimizing those toxins. We want you to be your best. And as a team, we can do better. We're here to help and serve you. So all of our talks are complimentary. It's one of our ways to give back, to volunteer, and these are free to share with friends and family. So great topic coming up, Dr. Udani.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and Dr. Justine today. We have such a fun, amazing, informative talk on gut health. And, this is a quote by Hippocrates, who used to be an amazing philosopher / doctor back in the day, ancient Greece. And he said, all diseases begin in the gut. And man, was he right? Because more and more research is showing that, a lot of the conditions that we have right now, including autoimmune diseases, it could be high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, fatigue, joint pain, allergies, infertility, trouble getting pregnant, even learning disabilities can be starting from the gut because of inflammation in the gut level and this imbalance in your gut microbiome. So we're going to dive deep today to figure out how can we reverse this, because there are ways we can totally improve our gut health, and we notice that all these symptoms get better.
I just want to share a personal story there, Dr. Udani. I grew up as a kid with migraines, with asthma, with severe allergies. And I was that picky eater, man. I ate horribly when I look back, like the white bread and, sugar peanut butter and jam sandwiches, bologna sandwiches, right? Family didn't know better. Certainly I wasn't having a salad, cereal for breakfast, just everything bad. And I look back at how much I've changed my life now with no more asthma, fewer allergies to pollen, to foods, to outdoor activities, things that would used to set me off. No more headaches or migraines. So like skin issues, all psoriasis, all improved by really looking at this full body approach. So I'm somebody who's lived through this and did it wrong, really, and suffered for years until I learned better. So if you have been doing challenged, you're not alone. These are great hints. You're going to learn the 4 R's on how you can improve this, but I certainly recommend don't do it alone. When you have a coach, for any of the top athletes in the world, the top performers in the world, they don't do it alone. They have someone to support them along the way. And that's what Dr. Udani is here for. When you have gut health issues and it can be affecting other areas, you don't even have to have a sore stomach, but if you have poor skin, poor psoriasis, like I used to, or headaches, allergies, and I didn't put it all together. This is when you can get a coach like Dr. Udani along the way, and you won't suffer the way I did.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Justine. And I'll share some of my experience. I grew up with so much acne because I thought it was normal not to go to the washroom, every day. I would go every 3 days, and I was constipated and had crazy sugar cravings. And I was, like you said, I wasn't really eating that well because my parents didn't know any better. And my skin would just really, really be super inflamed. But, once I figured out these are some of the keys to improve my gut health, that's the things we're going to talk about, it made such a difference. So I totally am with you with this. It's just such an amazing things that we can do every day,
Right. And I know that for me, when I was going through that, it was also emotional, right? Like I don't know if they would call it depression today, but back then you kind of hid all your feelings. But when you missing the things you love because you feel like crap, or because your skin is bad, you're trying to put makeup, or you don't want to go somewhere because your skin is bad, you don't want to talk to somebody because you feel embarrassed because of your skin, or because you're worried about you're going to sneeze in their face, right? It prevents you from things that can help you get ahead, simply because we haven't gotten control of this brain gut action.
Absolutely. Totally right. Yes.
So the major premise is that our body is designed to heal. Our body is amazing. It has this amazing power inside. We often talk about the power that made the body heals the body. That if we provide the body with the right tools, the right environment, it can function properly. So what we want to do is get rid of the interference, the challenges that we even put on ourselves to help our body be a better version of ourselves. So the major premise today is our body is designed to do great. Sometimes it needs a little support along the way, and we're here to help you today. So the nervous system, it controls all this function. The nervous system sends messages down your brain, down your spinal cord, to your digestive area. So literally, the brain is connected to your gut through the nervous system. And we have the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. And make the fight or flight with the sympathetic, or the parasympathetic is rest and digest. That's when your body is a more relaxed state and you're able to go to the bathroom more. And you know this because if you're nervous, you're worried about a test, you're worried about presentation, what do? You get butterflies, you get an upset stomach, you feel like you can't get a good night's sleep the night before. So these systems are completely connected. And as a chiropractor and as a naturopath, we work with this nervous system, with the fight or flight system, to help us be able to manage that stress on our bodies so that we can digest better. So there are two different types of systems in our healthcare. The traditional medical approach is called the allopathy versus the vitalistic approach, which is what Dr. Udani and myself practice. So the traditional, conventional allopathic approach says that the body is a sum of parts. We have a heart doctor called a cardiologist for your heart. We have a urinologist. We have a bone doctor. Everything's separated into different parts, rather than looking at how the digestion and, say, the nervous system works together, or even your digestion and your immune system works together, or your digestion and your skin works together. You would go to a skin doctor, a liver doctor, a gastro doctor, versus looking at the whole body as parts. They'll talk about that there's one cause for any specific disease. There's only one problem and one specific solution, rather than saying that there could be multiple problems working together to function and affects a person's overall health. They'll focus on the opposites that cure. So, for example, if you're sick, you need an antibiotic or an antiviral. If you have a headache, a fever, you need an antipyretic. If you're feeling down, you need an antidepressant medication. Instead of looking at how all the parts could be what improves your overall immune system and build the health from within, it's trying to squash it from the outside in. And our goal is to help the body be healthy from the inside out rather from the outside in, from some kind of lotion, potion, medication, or surgery. So the allopathic focuses on pharmaceutical and surgery prevention, whereas when we look at vitalism, we see the body is amazing, it's energetic, it works all together. The disease is the absence of health rather than disease is caused by a specific problem, is because the health has been drained. So, for example, if somebody's throwing up, they would say, "Oh, somebody is sick." Versus saying, "Hey, wait a minute, maybe they ate poor food, maybe they had too much candy, maybe they had too much alcohol, and throwing up was actually the sign of health. Maybe they're sneezing and they're getting creating lots of mucus." Instead of just saying they're sick, they're saying, "Wait, they have a lowered immune system. What do we do to build that immune system?" We talk about the body being super smart, super intelligent. It's always doing the right thing at the right time, and we can honor the symptoms as ways of expressing health rather than trying to squash symptoms. Our goal in our treatment is to reestablish the body's innate intelligence, its normal function, to a higher level. Now, there are criticisms to the allopathic approach. They often call it the primary criticisms to the specific etiology, meaning like one problem, one solution. And they call that very reductionistic, meaning you're only looking at one thing. You're not looking at the whole body, the whole part. So kind of like a car, I'm only going to look at, the wheels and the alignment of the wheels versus look at how all the engine, the front wheels work with the back wheels. And this area looks at just focusing on symptoms. Allopathic focuses on symptoms and eliminating symptoms, but that might lower our overall body health rather than looking at all the parts working together to improve how each system is interconnected. So our goal is to get that function as a full body approach. Now, Dr. Udani and I work together. Again, our goal is working with vitalism, improving your energy, improving your all function. So when something comes your way, you're stronger. So I'll give you an example. When I'm feeling like worn out or tired, I've worked too many hours, I didn't get good night's sleep, I'm more prone to get sick. I'm more prone to, feel pressure headache. I feel tight everywhere. But when I'm doing all the things right, I'm getting my exercise, I'm getting my sleep, I'm eating healthy, everything's vibing right. I'm more energetic. I wake up before that alarm clock. I'm ready to make it through the whole day, right? I'm not craving sugars and having crashes when I'm working on getting all the parts functioning as best. How would that apply to you, Danny?
Yeah, so with that, Dr. Justine, I just want to also kind of start off by saying, allopathic medicine, it's like one concern. So even lets you go see your family doctor or walking clinic. They often, you might see that board. It says one concern only per visit, So it might be, for example, you had a headache. So you just have to only talk about the headache, and the doctor might recommend you a painkiller or, something to kind of attack the symptoms. Whereas if you were to see a naturopath, you're going to see somebody for like a whole hour to half an hour to really get to know what's causing this headache. Could it be your sleep? Could it be your energy? Could it be your posture? Because you might be working crazy hours. So we try to really look at you as a person, incorporate your lifestyle habits, just to see a very holistic view of who you are. And then we try to remove obstacles to your health, right? Because like you said, Dr. Justine, the body has amazing ability to heal as long as we remove the obstacles to healing. So with that in mind, I kind of forgot your question, but I think what you meant was an example of how it applies to me is that, whenever I travel, for example, and I don't eat as healthy, I always tend to get sick. Like I tend to get a little sore throat, or start to feel a little weak, and that's because my body is telling me, listen, you're not eating properly, you just traveled, maybe you're not sleeping as well, you're a little weak, the immune system's a little down. So whenever I get these signals from my body, and I think because we're in this field, like, and anybody that is thinking about a more holistic approach, you become more aware of these symptoms and these signs that your body gives out to you, so you listen to your body more. So when I hear these signs from my body, I know it's time to take a little break. Maybe I need to eat better, maybe I need to sleep more, and also have a little bit more holistic support to help my body heal from the inside, instead of reaching for the antibiotics or reaching for the painkillers, because that's not really going to solve the problem, because it might come back again and again and again in the future. So that's why I love the more holistic approach, because I get to really see the patient for who they are and really treat them, and figure out what's the root cause of their problem, and to help heal the body.
Absolutely, Dr. Udani. That's exactly what I was getting at. And it's not that we never need medical approach or the allopathic approach. That is a great for emergencies. You've had a heart attack. You're having appendicitis. There are definitely times where we definitely believe that the medical system is needed. So it's not that it's never needed. We just want to make sure that our focus is on the goal is that you never need it in the future. Like we're building our health from within so that we're healthier overall. And that is for emergencies, not for just squashing symptoms. Because sometimes when you squash the symptoms, you actually, the problem gets worse. So for example, if you're driving along and the oil light goes on in your car, instead of just taking a medication, hiding that oil light and just driving your car to the ground, we're saying, okay, let's go get an oil checkup, right? Let's go look at the root of the problem. That's a warning sign. And those warning signs are good, but let's deal with the actual root cause of the problem. That's our goal here today. We're going to be talking about how to build health for your gut. So thank you, Dr. Udani. What's happening today is we're getting sick, man. Everybody, they're talking about as we get older, over half the population is dealing with a chronic illness. They're talking after 65 that people are on 5, 10 medications. Even drug companies want us to be on medications as we get older. That's how they make money. And our goal is to help be as healthy as possible with nutrition, with supplements, and to need medications as little as possible and use them for emergencies only. So if this system was working, our current allopathic system, we wouldn't have people so sick, so many chronic diseases. So we want to be able to help you, help your family, learn towards a way to build those building blocks, remove those obstacles, like Dr. Udani said, so that we are digesting, eliminating, and building that gut health and building that brain gut system so that HPA system is functioning optimally.
Absolutely. And considering how bad the wait times are at hospitals or even specialist appointments, we know that this is becoming a big issue, especially after the pandemic. So it's so important to just, like, right now, yes, going to a medical doctor is very important for emergency conditions, to get your imaging done, your ultrasounds, or colonoscopies, things done like that. I totally agree with that. But I also think you might be able to find quicker relief if you were to go the holistic route too, to really figure out what's going on as well, considering all the really long wait times that we have these days. So let's go. Sorry, Dr. Justine, let's go.
The systems can work together.
Yes.
I believe in teamwork, just the way Dr. Udani and I work together as a chiropractor and a naturopath. I believe everybody should have a healthcare team. Your dentist, your optometrist, your medical doctor, your skin doctor, your massage therapist, your naturopath, your chiropractor. We can work together with you being the center of the wheel and everybody on your team allowing you to be the best. And that would be like your top athletes too. They would have, a conditioning coach, a physiotherapist, an athletic therapist, a nutritionist. They're their coach for offense, their coach for defense, a videographer. Like, everybody works together to help them be at their optimal performance. And isn't that what we all want? Not only for ourselves, but to lead our families, to be the moms and dads who are helping their kids be the healthiest. If we're not focusing on ourselves, how do we lead our children and the next generations to come? So the information here, our kids are watching our actions, not what we say, but what we do. So as we make changes for our gut health, we're literally affecting the generations below us.
Absolutely. And I just want to add a little bit, one more thing is that we are always in contact with your medical team, like your family doctors. I usually write letters letting them know, so they're also in the know of what's going on with the patient. So you're right, there's a big like team efforts that's done. That way we cover all the bases and make sure the patients are our number one priority. Okay, so let's dive deep into the dynamic digestive system. So this is, digestive system is, think of it like a big tube, from your mouth all the way to your anus. We have so many different parts of the digestive tube that work together. Just like our medical health team, that, make sure that you are healthy. And we also have some organs that support the digestion too, including your pancreas, your liver, and your gallbladder. So pancreas is what releases digestive enzymes. These things help break down your food. Liver help transport it, into throughout the body, and the gallbladder helps with breaking down fats. And it's also a very important organ for detoxification. So this is an amazing, amazing system that works together. When it's working well, you feel so good and you're on top of the world. And in this digestive system, we have something called the microbiome. So you might have heard of it. What it is, in the plain terms, is it is a whole system of like a community of helpful bacteria. This could be trillions of bacteria. There also could be viruses, fungi. There's these organisms that usually work really well together to help maintain our health. And I call this a rainforest, so it's lots of diversity, lots of different kinds of these little guys that are working together. And sometimes when you hear bacteria, you might think, oh, this might not be a good thing, but there are bacteria that can be very beneficial for you. So it's those beneficial bacteria and other particles that make up this microbiome. And it's a key sign of digestive health. So what are the keys of digestion? So we have, first is making sure the food is actually broken down enough to be absorbed. So this is when the organs, so for example, right, you're going to be chewing your food, making sure it's really, really nicely chewed up and soft. And then our stomach is what usually helps break it down even further. And then we have some enzymes that help it break down even more too. And then we want to make sure we're absorbing these foods, these nutrients properly. So that happens more downstream in your small intestine, and then a little bit in the large intestine too. And then we also want to make sure we're eliminating waste. We're eliminating toxic products that we're in contact with all the time, things like forever chemicals or things like alcohol or medications. So we want to make sure we're not having those in our body for longer than we need to. So we're eliminating it too. So this is the 3 keys of the digestive system. And we want to make sure that all of these are working optimally. Because if they don't, you're going to start to get some signals from your body saying something's wrong, because your body is always talking, always giving you some signs saying something's going on. And so like Dr. Justine mentioned, these are like those warning signs when you're driving, the lights flashing, engines off, or low fuel. So when we ignore these signs, our body will talk louder. So this would be, extreme pain, or you're waking up in the middle of the night with something like crazy bloating. You might have diarrhea for weeks or, a few days straight, constipation, abdominal pain. So these are signs and signals that we should really keep an eye out for, because they tell us that something is not right. So for example, I ask my patients, do you feel bloated? And sometimes they don't really know what that means. So usually bloating, what I mean by that is you feel full. Even if you haven't eaten food, Or maybe even if after you ate food, you just feel a sense of fullness and it just doesn't go away. And it feels like there's pressure. When you're pushing in your stomach, for example, it feels hard and it just feels like there's a lot of gas trapped. Abdominal pain could be like sharp pains. It could be like cramping on the sides, or you just feel really uncomfortable. Constipation is, when you're not going to the washroom, or you have a really hard stool, or I call them the small ones like rabbit poops, this really little pellets. So, if you're not going to the washroom at least once a day, that is considered constipation. You can have nauseous feeling constantly, the feeling that you need to throw up. It could be after you eat certain foods or just throughout the whole day. And diarrhea is, of course, very, very, very loose, watery stool. That could be a normal. Let's say you had some bad food and your body's trying to get rid of it. But if it continues 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row, or you have it every couple of months or every month, that is also not a good sign. So these are all signals from your body saying that your digestive system is off.
I just want to add there, Dr. Udani, is make sure to check in with your kids because they don't know how to describe this. They might think it's normal. They might think going to a bowel movement, especially when you start to get teenagers, they don't, really want to talk about bowel movements, but maybe they're going every 3 days. So just confirming with their kids. If they're younger, you can check the toilet and make sure. But when they're, into those teenage years, make sure you just have that check-in that they're going to the bathroom daily, that they're not getting the bloating symptoms, because it's something that young people, they just don't want to talk about it. They're embarrassed. And yet it can be affecting their ability to do well in school, right? Like we really, there is a connection, and we're looking at the report card, but not realizing that maybe they're dealing with another issue that's affecting their focus, affecting their energy levels. So talking about gut health with your kids is super important. And if there is a challenge, making sure you get that coach, that naturopath to help them and to look at their diet. Typically, our young people, their diet is worse. They get those treats like, oh, I can have a treat every single day. And that's affecting their focus, their energy, their ability to deal with infections, with their overall immune system. And it's just not looking at that reaction and that connection. So this area is so important for us, but it is so important for our young people as well.
I completely agree with you, Dr. Justine. And you're right. Like sometimes kids just don't really want to talk about their poop, right? Or what they're feeling like. So sometimes it's fun to make a game out of it, or, have a little score that you can give them, depending on what's going on with their stomach, just to get them involved. Because, leaky gut is a very, very common thing these days, So the signs that I mentioned before can be a sign of leaky gut. So what is that? It sounds like something's going on. The gut is leaky. So that is exactly as a sound. So basically our gut has, this tube, the food tube has cells that surround it, right, to protect, have like a barrier. But, over time, if there is a lot of damage to it, it can cause holes in the gut. And food particles can pass through, harmful bacteria can pass through, and this causes a lot of inflammation. So I always have this this demonstration where, think of tissue paper. So tissue paper is really easy to rip holes in, and really easy to break compared to cardboard. It's a little bit more hardy. So our skin is actually 7 layers of skin cells thick, so that's more like cardboard, versus our gut lining is like tissue paper. It's only 1 cell layer thick. So it's so sensitive to being broken down, and holes can be produced. So just think of that in mind when you are having these issues, because it could be very well due to leaky gut. So another cause of leaky gut is something called SIBO. This is called small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So like I mentioned before, bacteria, we have some good ones, good guys called probiotics. But sometimes when there's an imbalance in the good guys and versus the bad guys, we can have an overgrowth of bacteria. And this can cause a lot of those issues like bloating, IBS, constipation, diarrhea, And, sometimes it's not always the overgrowth of the bad bacteria. It could also be because of too much growth of the good bacteria. So this is where it's important to kind of talk to a naturopath to figure out what is really going on. Like there's testing that we can do to make sure that, it is specifically what's really going on. And this can be very, very common. So close to 80% of the people that have gut issues, think about things like, IBS, or that's irritable bowel syndrome, or even Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, so IBD, also have an issue with their bacteria in the gut. So it's an overgrowth of bacteria in the small intestine. So these are some symptoms, so you can see they're very common to some of the warning signs that your body gives off when the digestive system is off. So, I've actually had a patient who was, basically, if something stressful is going on, they have to run to the washroom. Like their gut is so off. So they get diarrhea. Some of my patients get constipated for, weeks at a time because their gut is so inflamed and can have some issues in that sense. So these are some symptoms of the small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So if you've had this for a while, let's say for more than a month, we do consider this a problem. So we want to, figure out what's really going on. What kind of bacterial overgrowth is going on? Is there other kinds of things that's causing this, to make sure that we fix it right away? And another reason this is important is because over 70% of the immune system is in the gut. So, our immune system is so amazing. It works together, with our digestive system. It works together with our nervous system to really make sure that we have optimal health. And, because our gut has, we're exposed to a lot of different things like foods, different drinking, alcohol, medication, things like that. Our immune system is kind of hanging around in the same area to make sure that we are protected, right? So over 70% of the immune system is in the gut. The gut bacteria actually help teach the immune system what's good and what's bad. So there's a big friendship going on. I would call them like sisters, they're working together to make sure that your health is great. And this is also why having good gut health is so important for your overall immune health. And this actually surprised me because I didn't know the amount of serotonin, which is a very, very amazing, powerful, feel-good chemical in the body. 95% of it's produced in the gut. So that's basically almost all of the serotonin in the body. So what is serotonin? So let's say you have anxiety or depression, or you just have low mood, you're not motivated. So these can be signs of low serotonin in the body. So the gut-brain axis, this is where the brain is communicating with your gut to give you, make you feel good, make you feel relaxed, and so many other things too. You can see that there's a big connection here with how the gut communicates with the brain, and that is partly by producing this feel-good chemical we call serotonin. So it is such an important part of how we communicate, how our brain and our gut communicate. And if our gut is off, that means we're not producing as much of the serotonin. So for example, when I see patients that have anxiety or depression, I often see that they also have some kind of gut issue. They're either bloated or they have constipation or diarrhea. So once we fix the gut, we notice that their mood is better. They're not needed to take the anxiety medication as much, or the depressants as much. So there's a big connection here, and it's worth noting how important your digestive system and digestive health is with your mood too. So let's talk a little bit about the 5 pillars of distress for the digestive system, okay? So we have not absorbing the foods, not absorbing our nutrients properly. We have inflammation, so things like IBS, right? That's the end product. So lots of inflammation going on. We have dysbiosis, which is imbalance in the gut, the microbiome. We can have metabolic imbalance, so things like weight gain, even though you're like, what's going on? I'm working out all the time. Why am I gaining weight? Or it could be, too much weight loss. It could be both. And also infection. So, chronically getting sick and having issues with your gut too. So these are some pillars. These are the main pillars of GI issues. So let's talk about maldigestion. So this means not having a strong pancreas function or not having a good gallbladder activity. So basically, like I mentioned before, the pancreas, this little guy that's right on your left side, right below your stomach. This guy is what produces your digestive enzymes. They help break down the foods. It also helps with your lowering your blood sugar or regulating your blood sugar. And if the pancreas is struggling, you are not going to be able to digest the food as well. And that can cause a lot of bloating. That can cause a lot of issues downstream too. And of course, you can have issues with your blood sugar. Well, if your gallbladder is a little sluggish, and this I find with a lot of ladies, like we tend to have gallbladder issues like gallstones, or oftentimes I hear gallbladder has been removed because there's so many gallstones. So, and that is not necessarily a good thing, because the gallbladder is actually really important for our digestion because it helps break down our fats. It helps our liver take pressure off of liver by breaking down fats, and also can be really good for trapping toxins and detoxing. But if these organs are not working properly, we don't get that, we don't digest as well.
Thank you, Dr. Udani. And so many people, think nothing of removing a gallbladder, but we were built and designed with a gallbladder for a reason. So just removing our thyroid, just removing our gallbladder does mean that we need to talk to a naturopath to figure out, okay, how are we going to do better now that we're missing these key organs in our body? How are we going to manage our system better with digestion? And so one of the missing ingredients is healthy fats. I grew up in the era of low fat everything, low fat skim milk, low fat yogurt, low fat, whatever you organize, diet pop, right? Everything was remove the fats, get the diet product. And yet healthy fat is so crucial. It makes up 70% of our brain function. So if our children are not getting enough healthy fats and we wonder why they're doing poorly at school, we have to still look at their diet. The healthy fats help our cell membranes, help us digest all the vitamins. What's the use of taking healthy multivitamins if we can't digest them? It's going to protect our bodies with our different organs, help us manage temperatures, help us manage our hormones, help us manage inflammation. It's help us be fat burning versus fat consuming and so it helps us with weight loss. So important to have these healthy fats. The healthy fats help our energy, they help protect our organs, helps us with growth, and helps us manage inflammation. So crucial to be adding healthy fats, not trying to remove all fat. And that has been sort of the old paradigm. We're talking add healthy fats, remove the bad fats, and we're going to be covering that.
Absolutely, Dr. Justine. And I think the key word there is the healthy fats, because fats like, if you have trans fats or really, really high fatty, like processed foods, that's not really going to be good for your body. But the healthy fats, like the ones that are plant-based, like your avocados, your nuts and seeds, and, olive oil, those are so good for your body, for your brain. And it really does help with your digestion. Actually, fats help with movement, so it helps your body stay regular too. And you're right, fat got such a bad rep back in the day, that you can see no eggs were the devil, because they were going to rise your cholesterol so much. But now we're getting more and more research that says fat's actually really protective, healthy fats. But it's the sugar that can be really, really bad. And sugar is the bad guy because it can cause so much inflammation. So, in these cases, you want to be able to have healthy fats and be able to absorb the healthy fats. So your gallbladder is so important for that because it helps break down these fats so that they're small enough for your body to absorb. So let's say you do have gallstones, or you did have to end up taking your gallbladder out. You're going to have some trouble with breaking down these fats, and you might feel like really crappy if you had a really heavier meal on the heavier side. And then this is where you might need some support with your digestion, with absorbing things. So speaking to a naturopath, we can help you figure out what are some right kind of foods, right diet tips, and also giving you some supplement support to take the pressure off of your gallbladder if you still have it, or take the pressure off of your liver, because now the liver is doing double duty because your gallbladder is not there. So we want to make sure our liver is working optimally, because that is that one organ that detoxes everything and makes sure everything is good. Okay, and pillar number 2, of course, is signs of inflammation. So like those signals that the body was sending, things like bloating, abdominal pain, constipation, diarrhea, reflux, those are signs of inflammation. But we can actually do some lab tests too to figure out specific markers for inflammation. So these are some of the ones here. So for example, calprotectin, it's a protein that that our white blood cells release, as a response to inflammation. So like I said, our immune system is right next to our gut digestive system. So it's every time there's inflammation, it's going to release this protein. So we can test this in, either blood or stool. There's also EPX, which is like a histamine reaction. So histamine it's actually like an allergy reaction. So let's say you have a lot of congestion, allergy symptoms. This can be elevated because of something with the gut. So this is a good marker for that. And then we also can check your fecal IgA, which is basically an antibody that's released in the mucus lining of the gut. So mucus is a great way that helps our gut heal and traps harmful bacteria, and also helps our healthy bacteria. But if we have too high or too low of this, that can also be a sign of inflammation. And metabolic imbalance. So this can be imbalances in these little particles and products that help our gut. So think our colon cells. These are the energy for our cells that line the colon, that help the colon work well, that help the small intestine work well. These cells love short chain fatty acids, or butyrate, or propionate acetate. So these words may sound complicated, but think of them as like food, okay? Food for our cells to work, for them to work healthy and optimally. And our good bacteria is what can produce these items by digesting the food that we eat. So if we eat a healthy diet, so lots of good veggies, fiber, grass-fed, free range protein, meats and fish, things like that, our good bacteria can produce more of these molecules, and our colon cells, our small intestine cells love them because it helps them work better, heal better, function overall better. And so if there is an imbalance here, that means we might be more prone to gut issues. We might be more prone to things like polyps, in the colon. So let's say you get a colonoscopy done and there's, you find evidence of polyps. That could be because of this issue being going on for, years at a time. So we want to make sure that we fix this, right when we get those signals, right? Bloating, constipation, diarrhea, acid reflux, because that could be a sign of an imbalance. And this is a big concern where I always tell my patients, if you can do organic, amazing. If you can even do the top 3 foods that are the highest in pesticide use. So these are strawberries. This is spinach and kale, sadly, these days. So this is a list called the Dirty Dozen list, where it's produced every year. So it could be different every year. But these are the 12 foods that are the highest in pesticide use. So glyphosate is such a common pesticide that, that's used so widely, but it can really cause a lot of inflammation in the gut when you eat foods that are high in it. So like I mentioned, strawberries, spinach, and kale are the top 3 right now. So if you can do organic in that sense, that would be amazing. Even if you can't, you can use something like a baking soda wash to wash most of this away too. And this is bad because, first of all, it's a pesticide, so you don't want to be eating pesticides all the time. Even you're trying to be healthy, you might be having lots of exposure to this. And it's because it can cause a lot of issues in the gut. It can make your gut less acidic, which can interfere with the health of the colon cells because of the amount of food they eat can be reduced. So this is a huge disruptor in your metabolic system. And glyphosate, like pesticides, love to affect your hormones. They tend to really confuse the body, bind to your hormone receptors, and make you feel not well because of this exposure.
I just want to add, now that it's summertime, sometimes people say organic is expensive, but you can grow your own spinach, your own lettuce on your balcony. So I have those kind of Canadian Tire. I got a secondhand containers on the balcony. Grow it right on your balcony, and you can be able to feed yourself throughout the whole summer with literally doing your own organic greens.
I totally agree. I'm so happy you said that, Dr. Justine, because I'm so excited for gardening season. Even though we're having a little bit of a cold spell right now, but yes, I myself grow kale, tomatoes, eggplants in our backyard, and there is a difference in the flavor. It tastes better, it tastes more fresh, and you want to eat more when it tastes good like that.
Mm-hmm.
So number 4 is dysbiosis. So this is when we have an imbalance. The bad guys, there's more of the bad guys compared to the good guys. And when this happens, there's a lot of inflammation because the good guys, they want to release lots of inflammatory particles that kind of damage your gut, can cause leaky gut. And our immune system that's surrounding the gut can go into, alert mode, emergency mode, and starts to, cause even more inflammation. And this is why we need good bacteria. We need those probiotics. We want to have the foods that feed the good bacteria, that support the good bacteria. And oftentimes this is like dietary fibers, or, lots of fermented foods, things like sauerkraut. Love sauerkraut, love kimchi. This is spicy fermented cabbage. It could be tempeh, which is like fermented soy. Even whole milk, grass-fed, or plain yogurt is very high in those healthy probiotics. And so incorporating even a little bit of these foods can go a long way. And this is where, if you're feeling confused, please come talk to a naturopath, because we can figure out what's the right thing for you to take and when to take it as well, because there's the process to get your gut back online. And number 5.
I'm kind of, those aren't my favorite foods. So sometimes talking to the naturopath about, even if you're a picky eater, how do you create a plan for yourself? That's when you would talk to a naturopath. Okay, so maybe you don't like sauerkraut, or what are your other options? Mm-hmm. Or your vegan, what are your options? So definitely getting some advice and customizing it for yourself is great.
Mm-hmm. That is such a good comment, Dr. Justine, because sometimes people think, oh my gosh, I have to completely overhaul my diet. I believe in more of the 80-20 rule first. Try to do good 80% of the time. 20% of the time you can, enjoy. But and over time, though, you'll start noticing that I'm going for more healthier things. But if you start off with that mindset, it's easier. It's better to adapt it to. Okay, the last pillar is infection. So this is what I was talking about. These are the harmful bacteria, the yeast, the parasites in the gut that can cause a lot of inflammation. And, this can cause leaky gut too. And there's testing that we can do. There's lots of very comprehensive functional tests to figure out what are these overgrowths. That way we can help balance the gut again.
And I know for myself, one of the big things I didn't realize was parasites that I had. Sometimes I'm not sure if I got some of them from doing like some of the mud runs and Tough Mudder runs, or swimming in the lake. I don't know. A lot of people have parasites, really, really common. And it feels gross to think that you have something growing inside of you, or bacteria, yeast growing inside of you. That seems like a gross thought, but it is really common. And certainly, as I started to address parasites, address my gut health, my allergies to things like the pollen, the wheat, that used to be just so horrible in that spring and fall time, really improved. And that just really, made it so that I'd wake up way more energetic and less of that droggy heaviness, sinus pain that I used to have prior to dealing with overall health and prevention. So if that's you, you're waking up with these, seasonal allergies, or that achiness, or that fatigue in the morning, that's when you want to be also getting more testing done for your gut health. So our steps today, we did cover the 5 pillars of health. We want to identify the cause of the problem, remove the interferences, and then restore the body in that vitalistic way, helping the body be stronger from within. So when we look at the top 5 causes of leaky gut, sugar, like Dr. Udani said, the enemy, but yet we love it so much and we can be addicted to it. Eating those damaged fats, the McDonald's, the eating out, the fried foods, the, fish and chips, all of those areas damage us. So we do want to go to that, like Dr. Udani said, that 80-20 rule. What are we doing Monday to Friday? Maybe taking Saturday off. The refined carbohydrates, the glyphosate, and the artificial sugars and sweeteners. And I know I grew up with Diet Coke, Diet Pop, that was better than the real sugar, right? But yet these fake sugars cause damage to the leaky gut. They cause damage to our gut health and lead to these other challenges. And you may not feel it. It also makes you feel more hungry. So it actually causes you to gain weight rather than lose weight when we have these fake sugars. So this does go against, some of what the Canadian Heart Association will say, or Diabetic Association. They'll tell you to have your Splenda or your NutraSweet. And yet if you look at the research, they are toxic substances. So we want to add more healthy stuff into our diet. So we're going to cover the 4 R's in a moment. The solutions are coming your way, but these are some of the causes and the areas that we want to get under control with a coach along the way. So number 1 is remove those interferences. We do that with the 5 essentials with Max Living. That's maximizing your mind and managing the stress, because when you're stressed, you eat worse, you eat more sometimes, or you eat a lot less and you're not getting the good minerals into your body. Everybody's a little bit different in managing that stress. Managing your nervous system so your brain can help you digest that food. Managing your exercise. You got to move to digest your food properly. We've got to manage our breathing, and with the exercise, we've got to manage removal of toxins and getting those healthy nutrition, healthy fats in the diet. So we call that the 5 essentials of health with Max Living. And so today we're going to cover the solutions, and that's the 4 R's for gut healing. We're going to talk about removing the problem, repairing the gut health, replacing with good, healthy minerals and foods, and then inoculating to help the body get those good bacteria back into the body. So number 1 for the 4 R's is removing the bad bacteria, the bad yeast, the bad parasites, the overgrowth in your gut. And that's not easy to do. And you may not even know you have symptoms that you have this bad gut. You may not have pain. Like, so much of us judge our health based on our pain, or we think we have achy knees is because we have a knee problem rather than a inflammatory problem. And so many people say, I wake up with achy knees, achy ankles, achy hips, but it's actually a digestive concern. So number 1 is removing the bad stuff, and that can be done with healthy botanicals, healthy nutrition, healthy supplements. But you got to know the right ones, and that can be done with your naturopath and your holistic nutritionist.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, Dr. Justine. And when you mentioned, like, removing it, sometimes when you go to, a walk-in clinic or family doctor, they just like recommend you an antibiotic. And that could actually be like you're bombing the city. Antibiotics don't really distinguish between good bacteria and bad bacteria. It just tends to kind of clear the whole thing, and it could be very damaging because now your good bacteria that helps you isn't there anymore. And I can say that when we're growing up, my parents were so pro antibiotics. Like I would have a cough, they give me a bunch of antibiotics, or a little bit of tummy problem, antibiotics for like 2 weeks. So that over time that really does affect your gut health, because your good bacteria doesn't get a chance to grow and repopulate. So sometimes this does work. Let's say you have an emergency condition, you want to take, it is, if you want to do the antibiotic way, completely support that, because that is might be the most healthy option for you at that point. But sometimes, if you've had this for a while, or you did the antibiotics and it didn't help you, it is time to check into a more holistic path to see how can we help the good guys, but also manage and remove the bad guys at the same time, so that way your gut is healing. It's because we want to support. Go ahead, Dr.
Often, Dr. Udani, you also see people on proton pump inhibitors, and they're on that for life, or they're on something for acid reflux for life. So really, they're just masking the problem, not actually dealing with the bomb, right? You're just trying to deal with the smoke, but not actually stopping the bomb from going off. And so anytime someone's on a medication for life, that's not really addressing the cause of the problem. That's just the reaction to the problem in many cases. And so it's really super important to address, is there something more you could be doing to help yourself?
Absolutely. And I'm so happy you mentioned the proton pump inhibitors and like antacids, because your stomach acid is so important for getting rid of some of these bad bacteria, because it's like the first defense. So but when you have a weaker stomach, these can travel way much quicker and can cause a lot of bloating and issues downstream, and then you have to end up using antibiotics or whatever else to kind of like something heavy to fix it. But let's say we fix the root cause of your acid reflux. Why do you need to use the antacids in the first place? That way we can actually look at the body as a whole instead of trying to fix like one symptom at a time. So phase 2 is repairing. So, once we've done the removal in a safe manner and your body is at that stage where it's time to repair, we can add in, things that can help the lining of the gut. So things that help thicken up the mucus or help soothe the lining, help heal the cells so that they can grow again, help heal the I would call it the cement between the barriers, so that way it's tight and there's no leakage happening. And this is where you may need support, because sometimes finding the right products that work for you can take time. There's a lot of products out there, at the nutrition store, so it can be very confusing. And finding the products that work for you, for your concerns, like the inflammation you have, can be really good to get that coach. So repair stage can take anywhere between 3 weeks to could be 3 months or 6 months, depending on how long you've had this for, right? Because our body, it is amazing, it's wonderful, and it'll take some time for it to heal, especially if you had this for a long time. So this is a good stage where now that you might notice that your bloating starts to go down. It's like you start to feel more like yourself. Your joints aren't as achy, your mood is better, because we're repairing that gut lining. And then we want to help replace some of the support, in the gut. So this could be adding in some digestive enzymes, helping with that stomach acid, or even adding some bile salts, so things that can help digest the food, so that we support your gallbladder, your pancreas, your liver in digesting the food, and you're able to absorb the nutrients better too. So sometimes, these phases, if it sounds confusing to you or too complicated, come and speak to a naturopath or even your holistic nutritionist, so we can come up with a timeline for you, depending on how long you've been dealing with this. Sometimes, I tend to do 2 phases at the same time, because your body it's doing well and it's handling it. So we might do the removing. So first phase, removing of the bad guys and replacing replenishing, repairing it together, so that way it's fixed. Sometimes I might add things like charcoal, activated charcoal, to trap the toxin, so that you're not getting a crazy blowout of symptoms. So there are little spots, little steps in between, where speaking to a trained professional can go a long way. And yes,
Keep going. Just definitely, if you're doing it on your own, be cautious, because you could actually increase your symptoms and not be aware as you're healing your gut or you're doing a detox. Sometimes you can feel worse before better and not understand that either that's normal, like you might need, for example, if you vomit after too much alcohol, that's actually a good thing, not a bad thing. So just to talk along with somebody to know if you're having symptoms along the way and make sure that they're good or bad symptoms.
absolutely, because sometimes it can feel a little bit worse before you feel better, and that could just be a sign that your body is, realigning, coming back, the system's turning on again. So these are some things that you might become worried about, and having someone on your team can really help you figure out what's really going on. And then the last phase is replenishing. So this is when we're adding in our friends, the good bacteria, the probiotics. We're helping kind of seed the gut with the good guys, and that can really help with reducing the inflammation. So think of it like we're giving your car the right premium fuel, the good stuff. That's going to help it run for longer. It's going to help your body run for longer, be more effective too.
Awesome, Dr. Udani. I love the 4 R's: remove the bad guys, repair the gut, replace it with the right stuff, and then replenish it, right? So we got those 4 R's. Now, these are some of the supplements on Max Living website to help you do that. But again, I recommend the support, the coach along the way, so that you're not adding anything that you don't need. So that's reducing your costs, but also just to do it in a safer way. This is not something you want to guess at, or you just want to, research on your own. Really having that full body approach, that vitalistic approach, is truly what we recommend. So, has the nervous system play a role? As a chiropractor, the nervous system controls all function in your body. So when we help that nervous system, with your fight or flight system, your sympathetic, your parasympathetic nervous system, the messages you see along those red lines there, from your brain all the way to your toes and the gut in between, we need it to be in a relaxed state. We cannot digest our food in a stressed state. So if there are those areas of subluxation, those areas of interference, and areas of pressure on your spine, your nervous system, on just the stress response, we're not going to be able to have proper gut function. So definitely, making sure you have a chiropractic checkup to make sure on a regular basis, do you have areas of subluxation, pressure on the nervous system that can lead to degeneration, that can damage those nerve messages. It's important to have regular checkups, just like you have regular dental checkups, regular eye checkups, regular blood pressure checkups, regular blood work. Have a spinal checkup with a Max Living chiropractor. Now, what's the difference? Max Living chiropractors do what's called curve correction. So we do x-rays, we do pre and post checkups. So if you need a referral for a great chiropractor near you, let us know. If you don't live nearby, we are in Brampton, Ontario. We'd love to help you, but we also are happy to do a referral. Now, to talk to a naturopath, to Dr. Udani, you can live anywhere. She can do work virtually with you. I know that a lot of times my mother-in-law could be working with a naturopath or a homeopath virtually, in order to be able to get the support you need, especially if you're dealing with chemotherapy, other types of medication therapy, because different medications can be affecting your gut health. So if you're somebody who's going through cancer treatments, going through other organ treatments. This is also the time to have a naturopath on your team and to get the right checkups done. So, and we work as a chiropractor for the stress on the nervous system. The naturopath's going to look at the holistic, vitalistic approach as well. So you get that person, those other team members to help you improve your health from within. So get a checkup, a nervous system checkup. So the action steps for today is do a naturopathic consultation, a meet and greet. Is this something for you? And Dr. Udani is amazing at that. Sabine on our team is our holistic nutritionist. She does live blood cell analysis. Now, what's that? That's a little prick in your thumb, just a little owie, takes just a second. It goes away in a second. And she analyzes your blood for challenges. And then if it's great, you'll find out it's great. If it's not, she's going to do a referral for some different nutrition or a referral to the naturopath, letting you know, do you have a problem or not? This is something you can do annually as a test to test your blood. And that's not the same as getting your blood work done with your medical doctor. And finally, with your max living chiropractor, your corrective care chiropractor, making sure you get a check. Do you have areas of subluxation? Are you maintaining your posture, your alignment for your brain and body to function well? So those are your action steps. Stay tuned, share with us lots and lots of, I know this was a longer talk, but so important, your gut health. So we have great talks coming up. The next one is on leaky gut, understanding that leaky gut and 12 nutrients and herbs to help heal your gut. So that's a real connection to today's talk. Share this with others. We're always giving back to you. And if you have topics that you'd love to hear more about, please connect with us, share with us. And we'd be happy to generate a talk for you. We do have ways to connect with us on Facebook, on YouTube, on our website. Please do a review. We that helps us help others. That's how people judge us. We'd love to give back from our hearts for you and help you be a better version of yourself, help that vitalistic health approach. So thank you so much, Dr. Udani. Love sharing with you, love working with you. We are here as a Max Living team to help you be the best version of yourself.
Always love doing these talks with you, Dr. Justine, and I totally agree. We want to help you. This is coming from our hearts. So I'm so happy you joined us, and hopefully you learned something from this talk.